Hello, for the 18th week Ordinary Time, chosen the first reading Isaiah 55 and the Gospel Matthew 14:13-21. Deals with the miraculous multiplication of loaves. Three things. What happened there? How did it happen? And the most important, what does it mean, or what did Jesus really intend to teach us or show us? What happened? Well, the facts, as it says in the story: 5 loaves, 2 fish. Hungry people. After the feeding, 12 baskets left over, and 5,000 men were fed, not counting the women and the children. That's what happened. It's wild. How did this really happen? I always ask myself, and I try to figure things out crazily, and I sort of think of pop-up toaster, 5 loaves or 5 slices, and boom, you take it out, they keep popping up. And it just kept popping up like mad until they fed everybody. 5,000 to 10,000 people with this bread. And the fish, 2 fish. How did that happen? My heavens. The propagation of fish is better than rabbits. How did Jesus do it? Interesting to try to figure out, but I don't know how it happened. But it happened, and Jesus did it. The most important thing is, what was he trying to say or do? And I sort of think it deals with basic needs in life, and maybe the basic way we ought to treat other people for starters. This life, we need to eat and drink, etc. I'm thirsty. Give me a beer. I don't have any money. I ain't got no money. Give me a job. Lend me some money. I'm hungry. Ain't there anything to eat around here? Basic needs. Many people in the world don't have the basic needs. The situation was the same at the time of Christ. When, the situation was his cousin had just been murdered, killed, John the Baptist. He's down. He goes to pray. He goes to be by himself. He needs solitude to think and pray. And all these people follow him, many. And it's the end of the day, and they're hungry. And what does Jesus do when he sees the crowd? He has pity on them, and he forgets about himself, and he tends to the crowd. In his preaching or teaching, and even the most part, the multiplication of the loaves, he feeds them. Feeding the poor is one of the fundamental obligations of us all. More important than any sermon or platitude or insight, doing for others, feeding the poor is paramount. I like to look at the past life of Mother Teresa. She would feed the poor children and take care and shelter them in the streets of Calcutta for years and years and years. And she would teach and tell her sisters that is their primary concern also. Feed the poor, take care of these people in the streets. And these hungers, physical hunger to eat and to feed the poor, is more important than just talking about even the spiritual needs or the spiritual helps that we try to tell people, this is the way you should live. Feed the poor. There's a nice quote that Sister Teresa tells her sisters, or the people, you and me. She says this, in simple sentences. Charity begins today. Today someone is suffering. Today someone is in the street. Today somebody is hungry. Our work is for today. Yesterday has gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today to make Jesus known, loved, served, fed, clothed, and sheltered. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow will not have them if we do not feed them today. Unbelievable, powerful, holy person in the streets of Calcutta feeding the poor. To me, that sounds like here in Lexington. There's people at the Catholic Action Center feeding the poor, giving shelter to the homeless. It's a much, much, much smaller thing, but it's really what Sister Teresa did. It's what Jesus did. And it is what they are doing now. Love your neighbor as yourself. So all the rest will follow. But we have to take care of basic needs first. And loving our neighbor, feeding our neighbor. All the rest of our desires will be fulfilled and satisfied. Fully satisfied. If we start with some of these basics. And there will be more than enough to satisfy us. Like there was more than enough to satisfy these 5,000 men, not counting the women and children. If we do these basics, we will be totally satisfied. Just like it says in the Gospel. They all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up the fragments left over. 12 baskets over and above what they needed. Jesus fed the poor. This miraculous multiplication of loaves and fish, what do you think Jesus was trying to say? Have a good day.